The December garden secret that changes everything. Welcome back to Golden Age Gardening. I'm William Scott, and I'm about to reveal something that's going to completely transform your approach to gardening this coming year. You're watching this video in December, and most gardeners are doing absolutely nothing right now. They're waiting. They're thinking spring is still months away. They're telling themselves they'll start thinking about gardens when the weather gets warmer. But here's what separates gardeners who have abundant, thriving harvests from those who struggle. The ones winning are already working right now in December. And if you want to join that group, you need to understand what I'm about to share with you. If this is your first time here at Golden Age Gardening, I'd love to have you join our community. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video about growing an incredible garden. If you find this helpful, please like this video and comment below about which seeds you're most excited to start. And seriously, share this with anyone in their life who grows food. They need to know this. Why December is your secret weapon? The truth about a thriving garden isn't complicated, but it is surprising to most people. When you look at gardens that produce abundantly throughout the entire year, the secret isn't expensive equipment or fancy techniques. The secret is something that might seem small but changes absolutely everything: placement and timing. Right now in December, I have plants growing that are still producing heavily in my garden. These plants didn't magically appear in spring. They were deliberately started indoors way back in December. That's just how serious gardeners think. They're not reacting to the seasons. They're planning months ahead. The real strategy behind my garden's success involves creating layers of protection while boosting production. I do this by surrounding every single garden bed with herbs. This isn't just for flavor and fragrance, though those are wonderful benefits. These herbs work as a natural barrier. They repel pests. They create an environment that makes it harder for disease to spread. Your garden becomes more resistant to problems because you've designed it that way from the start. Most of these protective herbs need to be started early because they grow slowly and they're incredibly expensive when you buy them later. Let's be honest, nurseries charge real money for mature herb plants. You'll spend $4 or $5 or even $10 on a single plant. But seeds? Seeds cost almost nothing, and when you start them yourself in December, you'll have healthy, vigorous plants that cost you just pennies compared to what you'd pay to store.
Seed number 1, thyme, your garden's first line of defense. Let's talk about the first perennial herb you should start indoors right now. Thyme is absolutely essential for any serious gardener. Thyme is one of my favorite plants to position at the corners of raised beds. There's something about having this little herb standing guard that just works. It brings structure to your garden layout, and functionally, it does tremendous work for you. Thyme repels insects that would otherwise damage your vegetables. It grows compact and controlled, so it won't overtake your space like some plants do. When you start thyme seeds indoors in December under growing lights, by the time February or March arrives, you'll have strong, established plants. These aren't wimpy seedlings. They're substantial enough to make an impact when you transplant them outdoors. Compare that to buying thyme at a nursery in spring, where you're getting a plant that's been sitting in a container under fluorescent lights, stressed from being in confined soil. Your homegrown version will be far superior. Seed number 2, sage, medicine and magic combined. Next, we have sage. This herb deserves a place in every garden, and I'll explain why. Sage is legendary for protecting plants from unwanted pests. It's been used for centuries because it actually works. Beyond the practical protection it provides, sage is wonderful for personal use. I harvest sage throughout the year for tea. It's comforting. It's aromatic. It makes you feel like you're doing something genuinely good for your body. Starting sage from seed in December gives you a significant head start. Sage germinates slowly, which means if you wait until spring, you'll be behind. But if you plant seeds indoors now, you'll have mature plants ready to position strategically throughout your garden beds by late winter or early spring.
Seed number 3, oregano, the abundant producer. Oregano is a plant that surprises most people with how productively it grows. When you start oregano seeds indoors in December and get them in the ground by spring, you're going to see remarkable growth throughout the growing season. Oregano is an absolute producer. It generates abundant foliage that you can harvest repeatedly. Beyond the harvests, oregano attracts beneficial insects like bees and butterflies. Your entire garden becomes more vibrant and healthy when you have oregano growing in it. Here's something gardeners often don't anticipate. Oregano becomes so vigorous that it can actually overtake your pathways during the summer months. This is a good problem to have because it means your plant is thriving, but it's worth knowing in advance so you can plan your layout accordingly. Seed number 4 and 5, winter savory and summer savory, seasonal flavor. Now let's talk about two herbs that don't get nearly enough attention, winter savory and summer savory. These plants add wonderful complexity to your herb collection. They're absolutely delicious in cooking. Whether you're seasoning soups, vegetable dishes, or anything in between, these savories bring a unique flavor that distinguishes your cooking. Starting them from seed in December means you'll have plants ready to provide fresh flavor all year long.
Seed number 6, rosemary, the legendary guardian. Finally, in the perennial herb category, we have rosemary. Rosemary deserves special attention because it has a reputation in gardening circles for a reason. There's actual garden wisdom about rosemary that goes back generations. Experienced gardeners will tell you that rosemary should be growing right at the entrance of every garden gate. This isn't just tradition. Rosemary has real properties that make it valuable. It's antifungal, which means it actively prevents certain fungal diseases. It has antibacterial properties. When you have rosemary positioned around your garden, you're creating a healthier growing environment naturally. Rosemary needs time to develop into a mature plant. It grows best and most reliably when you start seeds indoors and allow them to develop under controlled conditions. By the time you transplant your rosemary outdoors in spring, it will be strong and established, ready to spend years producing for you and protecting your garden. The strategy for all perennial herbs. All of these perennial herbs follow the same pattern. You start them indoors under growing lights in December. You maintain them carefully through January and early February. By late February or March, you're transplanting healthy, mature plants into your garden. You've invested maybe $5 in seeds to create 20 or 30 plants where you would have spent $100 at a nursery. This isn't just about saving money, though that's certainly part of it. When you start from seed, you know exactly how your plants were grown. You control whether they've been exposed to chemicals. You ensure they haven't been stressed unnecessarily. You're producing better plants through your own care.
Seeds number 7, 8, and 9, annual herbs for cool season growing. Beyond the perennial herbs, there's another category you should consider starting in December, annual herbs. This strategy particularly applies if you live in a region with milder winter temperatures. If you're somewhere that doesn't see harsh frost, or if frost disappears early in the year, you have the opportunity to start annual herbs indoors and transplant them outside in late January or February. Seed number 7, parsley, is the first annual herb worth starting now. Most people don't realize that parsley actually prefers cool weather. It loves the mild temperatures of late winter and early spring. It doesn't perform well when summer heat arrives. If you want to harvest fresh parsley continuously, you need to establish plans during the cool season. Parsley germinates slowly from seed, so starting indoors in December is important. This gives you vibrant plants ready to go outside soon. Seed number 8, dill, is another cool season annual that benefits enormously from early December seeding. Like parsley, dill prefers cooler conditions. It doesn't mind a light frost at all. Actually, a touch of frost can enhance the plant's flavor development. By starting dill indoors in December, you'll have established plants that produce fresh foliage for your kitchen by late January or throughout February. Seed number 9, cilantro, is the third annual herb in this group and is probably the one that benefits most from cool season growing. Cilantro is notoriously difficult for many gardeners because it bolts quickly when temperatures rise. The solution is to have your plants already established and producing when cool weather still exists. Starting cilantro indoors in December means you'll have mature plants ready to move outside. You'll be harvesting fresh cilantro for salads and cooking throughout the coolest part of the year.
Cold climate alternative, large leafy greens.
Now, if you're watching this and live somewhere colder, if you regularly experience harsh winters, don't feel left out. You have other options that work beautifully for December seed starting. If you're in a warmer region, if frost is minimal or arrives and leaves early, you should absolutely be starting large leafy greens indoors in December alongside your herbs. Seed number 10. Purple mustard is a leafy green that offers both visual interest and excellent flavor. Starting purple mustard seeds indoors in December means you'll have established plants ready to move outdoors. These plants grow quickly once transplanted, and you'll be harvesting substantial greens by late winter or early spring. Seed number 11, 12, and 13. Various kales are another important category. Kale is incredibly nutritious and productive. I especially recommend starting Toscano kale and dwarf blue-curled Scotch kale. These varieties grow reliably and produce heavily. When you start kale seeds indoors in December, you'll have strong plants ready to establish themselves outdoors. These plants will produce abundant harvests throughout the cooler months. Seed number 14. Swiss chard is another leafy green that responds beautifully to December indoor seeding. Swiss chard grows vigorously once established. You can harvest outer leaves continuously while the plant continues producing new growth. Starting chard indoors means you'll have mature plants that can move into the garden by late January. Seed number 15. Chinese cabbage, or Napa cabbage, is my particular favorite in the cabbage category for warm regions. Napa cabbage grows quickly and produces dense, tender heads. Starting these seeds indoors in December gives you a huge advantage. By late January, you can transplant substantial plants into your garden.
The real advantage you're creating. Here's what most gardeners don't understand. Plant stores don't stock these items early. They haven't figured out that you can grow these things in the cool season. By the time they realize there's demand, the season is almost over. If you start these seeds yourself in December, you'll have plants growing when nothing is available commercially. You'll be harvesting greens and herbs when stores are still sitting empty. You'll save remarkable amounts of money. Instead of spending $4 or $5 per plant at a nursery, you're investing a couple of dollars for an entire packet of seeds that produces dozens of plants. You'll have healthier plants. When you control the growing process, you avoid whatever chemicals or stresses commercial growers might expose plants to. You'll have more abundant gardens. Because your plants are established earlier and stronger, they'll produce more throughout their growing period. The planting system that works. You're probably wondering how to keep track of all of this. How do you know exactly what to start and when? How do you make sure nothing gets forgotten? This is actually something I've developed specifically to help gardeners. I've created seasonal planners that organize garden work by temperature range rather than calendar month. There's a cold season planner, a cool season planner, a warm season planner, and a hot season planner. This approach works because it acknowledges the reality that gardening timing depends on your specific climate, not on what the calendar says. Whether you live in a cold region or a warm region, whether your growing season is short or extended, these seasonal planners guide you through exactly what to do each month. Every action is organized, so you know what needs to happen when. You could certainly create your own planning system if you prefer. You could write down which seeds to start in which months based on your specific location. You could mark your calendar with starting dates. The important thing isn't the format of your plan. The important thing is having a plan at all. The gardeners who succeed are always the ones working ahead, preparing, thinking months in advance. The ones who struggle are the ones who wait until spring and react to whatever looks available at nurseries.
Your December action plan. So, here's what I want you to do right now, in December. If you have access to growing lights, set them up. If you don't, a sunny window can work, though lights are better. Gather seeds for the perennial herbs I mentioned. That's thyme, sage, oregano, savory, and rosemary. These are non-negotiable if you want an incredible garden this year. If you're in a mild climate region, add seeds for parsley, dill, cilantro, and leafy greens. These will give you even more abundance. Get seed starting soil. You don't need anything fancy. Basic seed starting mix works perfectly. Get containers with drainage holes, or you can repurpose containers you already have. Start your seeds now. Don't wait another week. December is the month that matters. Why this changes everything. The reason I'm making such a big deal about this is that it genuinely changes the outcomes you get. Gardeners who start seeds in December have gardens that look fundamentally different in spring and summer compared to gardeners who wait. They have more plants. They have healthier plants. They have plants that produce more abundantly. This happens because of timing and preparation, not because of any special skill or expensive resources. I see this every single year in my own garden. December seed starting is the single decision that determines whether my garden is good or truly exceptional. Keep learning. If you found this information helpful, please support this channel. Subscribe so you're notified whenever I share new gardening strategies. Like this video and comment below about which seeds you're planning to start. Tell me your climate zone. Tell me which herbs you're most excited about growing. And please share this with other people who grow food. Share it with friends, family, neighbors, or anyone in your life who wants a more abundant garden. They'll be grateful for the knowledge. There's so much more to learn about gardening. Every month presents different opportunities and different tasks. Come back to Golden Age Gardening regularly for strategies that actually work in real gardens, not just in theory. Right now, your job is simple. Gather your seeds, set up your growing station, and start them indoors this month. That single action is going to set up your entire year for success. This is William Scott with Golden Age Gardening. Get out there, start those seeds, and build the garden you've been wanting.